All right, here we go. The countdown is underway. The Toronto Caribbean Carnival returns with full force this coming weekend, and with it, of course, the sights, sounds, and of course, the food. Mishka Crichton is festival manager for the Toronto Caribbean Carnival. Joins us live this morning here on CP24 Breakfast. Mishka, good morning to you. So glad you're here. You must be so glad the Toronto Caribbean Carnival is back after the pandemic pause.
Good morning, Nick. I am more than thrilled. I can't believe it. It's kind of a little bit surreal. 2019 was the last one, so we're truly looking forward to being back on the road again for 2022. All
right, here we are, 55th anniversary, of course, of the Grand Parade as well here. So what can people who are going to be showing up this weekend, what are they in for? What can they expect? Are there any sort of new changes this time around?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd start by saying head over to torontocarnival.ca to see all our upcoming events, and you'll be able to buy tickets to come and see, starting this Thursday, our King and Queen show, which takes place at Lamport Stadium. Showtime is at 7 p.m., and that's one of a crowd's favorites, as well as on Friday we have Pan Alive. That's at Lamport Stadium as well, kicking off at 7 p.m. before we roll into Saturday's Grand Parade. Go for it.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the Grand Parade, you can enter on exhibition grounds, and tickets are available for that as well on our website. And as well, there's the free area as per usual, which is on the south side of Lakeshore on Maryland Bell Park, which you can access from the east and westmost points of the parade.
And Mishka, last week on CP24 Breakfast, we were talking to one of the former reigning queens of the parade, and she was talking about the preparation that goes into these just remarkable costumes and all the adornments, all the creativity that goes into it. But there's a whole lot of planning that goes into just the Caribbean Carnival itself here. I wonder if you can talk about the team behind you that gets all of this together to make sure that things go as well as possible this coming 4-day stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a team of dedicated and talented people who, if they didn't spend all of our put a blood, sweat, and tears into this, it would not happen, as well as we have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers who are essential to making sure that this carnival happens. And I'll tell you, that queen you're talking to, I think it was my sister.
I thought the last name was familiar. Yeah, I didn't want to make a guess there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Joella is my sister. Yeah. And you know, it's really thrilling for myself to be coming from the masquerader side and now being on the other side of planning the carnival with this huge group of people that make this festival happen every single year.
Now, I realize, Mishka, that you're the festival manager, so perhaps you can't really admit to a bias here, but is there something that you most look forward to that you say, you know what, I need this the most, I just look forward to this in the sort of Caribbean weekend?
Of course I can have a favorite.
Okay, good.
My favorite is absolutely the King and Queen show, which is on Thursday night at Lamport Stadium. That's when our 12 competing mass bands will be competing for the titles of King and Queen of the bands, and you'll see large, beautiful, elaborate costumes. It truly is a spectacle of the carnival arts. And I mean, after that, of course, you know, the Grand Parade is something that I never miss. I got to jump and wave.
Yeah. Exactly. It is something to see. If you haven't been there before in person, it is absolutely spectacular indeed. So get down and get down early, I suppose, is the best advice. Mishka Crichton, festival manager for the, of course, Toronto Caribbean Carnival. Thanks so much for being here, and have a great time over the next several days. Appreciate this.
Thanks for having me.
That she with me just for the pennies. Pretty and proper, that's Jenny. Get cash from me, bro, in that telly. How could you do this to a man like me? Toxic, messy, and tidy.
Skyfall is a Montreal-based artist who is quickly rising to global rap stardom. His signature dish combines Caribbean patois flow with some Canadian beats to create this unique hip-hop hot pot. And we welcome Skyfall to CP24 Breakfast. It's a pleasure to meet you, young man.
Hello, hello, hello. Pleasure to meet you.
It's good to have you on the show. Look, your sheet says that you've been rapping since you were 12 years old, but you've really blown up in these last couple of years. How did the pandemic affect your writing, your recording, and your studio sessions?
I don't think it really affected anything. I still was making music, even though I was at home. Like my producers, they got me this laptop, and I was like recording myself for a bit. That did not work out. But kind of like broke the rules and just like had late night sessions. Even though we had like curfews and stuff.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. Music never stopped, you know, and I just couldn't stay at home.
That's great. No, the music doesn't stop, and it never should for you. So yesterday, YouTube Music introduced the new 2022 class of artists for the Foundry. That's its global artist development program with amazing alumni, people like Dua Lipa, Rosalia, Arlo Parks, Gunna, many more. Now the new class, the biggest one yet, 30 independent artists from around the world, including 3 Canadians. One of them is named Skyfall. Look, this is a huge accomplishment and a recognition of your work and your reach. Do you create your work for like a target audience in mind, or do you write and rap for you?
I create everything for me. Like most of the stuff that's on my upcoming project. It's all about just what I went through in like my life or one of my friends, experiences or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I make it for me, and then people can relate to it. Because then if I just make something like just for one person and this person, it kind of like focusing and kind of like messes up my creative, right? So I think I just make me, and then people could relate to whatever I'm talking about. Because
that's the way the art's supposed to go, right? So you've been played on BBC Radio 1, ads for the NBA, Louis Vuitton. Does this sort of stuff feel like pressure or pleasure?
I don't think there's any pressure there. I just wake up in the morning super happy when these things come out. So I think it's mostly pleasure.
Well, look, you've got a lot of plates spinning, but you're young and successful. The sky's the limit, pun intended. The world may be moving fast, but you look like you're well caught up to it. Skyfall, thanks for your time. We're going to be hearing a lot from you, man. Have a great summer and a great fall and a great 23.
Well, gone but not forgotten. It really wasn't that long ago. The vaccine certificates were required to do, well, just about everything in this province.
Well, for some, it was a ticket to freedom. For others, it was anything but. Some who wouldn't or couldn't get the shots were excluded from service at a variety of businesses as the province was reopening. While the mandatory vaccine certificate program has ended, a lawsuit now lingers. The Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms launched a constitutional challenge of the certificate program, and it will be heard in Ontario's Superior Court of Justice today and tomorrow.
Now, Jorge Pineda is a staff lawyer at the JCCP and is one of the lawyers bringing this case to court. Joined us live via Skype. Jorge, thanks for being here this morning. Can you kind of walk us through some of the reasons that your clients wouldn't get vaccinated and the sort of the crux of this case here?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So as you do recall, yes, for a period of about 7 months, Ontarians who weren't vaccinated were not permitted to enter certain venues like concerts and bars and gyms. And the purpose of this, the vaccine passport, was to pressure Ontarians to take 2 doses of the vaccine. In some situations, it was successful. In other situations, individuals decided not to take the vaccine despite the pressure. So I represent, and we represent at the Justice Centre, 9 of those individuals who are the applicants in this hearing that's going to be heard today and tomorrow. And so they all have overlapping reasons why they don't they decided not to take the vaccines, but each of them comes from different backgrounds and had their own particular reasons. So, for example, Miss Sarah Lamb, one of the clients, is from Kitchener. She's in her early 40s, operates a dog walking business. She took the first dose of the vaccine, and she suffered very serious side effects, which required hospitalization. But given the really stringent grounds under which an exemption would be granted, a medical exemption, she was unable to obtain an exemption. And she still refused. She refused to take the second dose. It was her judgment that it was not in her interest to take the second dose because of her reaction to the first dose. And because of that, she ended up suffering through the mental and psychological stress of being excluded from regular society and being unable to enroll her young children into recreational activities and do the normal things that most Ontarians were able to enjoy at that time. Mm-hmm. Another client, Ms. Sarah Harji, is a nurse and with a master's in public health. She has young children, and she was pregnant at the time of the vaccine passport. And it was her view, she was of the view that there simply was not enough information and data at the time for her to take the vaccine. given her pregnancy, and just given her basic background and understanding vaccines and how long it takes to really understand what the long-term adverse effects could be.
Jorge, I don't want to cut you off, but just getting to the issue, it seems like their medical issues were not exempted because there was a very stringent criteria for these medical exemptions. But the pandemic ended up being a situation where decisions were made based on the needs of the many versus the needs of a few. Do you think that will complicate this case you're presenting?
Well, the Charter of Rights, this is a Charter of Rights and Freedoms case, and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects the right of the individual. So all of us as Canadians have rights as individuals, and that's one of the beautiful things about this country. And so we are arguing, our arguments are legal arguments on behalf of the individuals. So Section 7 of the Charter protects the right to life, liberty, and security of the person. This means that the government cannot pressure you to undertake a medical intervention that you've decided against, because you as an individual have a right over your own bodily autonomy, regardless of whether others wish that they can make those decisions, medical decisions for you. It's not a matter of popular opinion. The Charter protects your right to decide what to do with your body, free from government coercion, and that includes psychological and emotional pressure.
Even in the face of a global pandemic, it seems. All right, Jorge Pineda, lawyer for the Justice Center. Appreciate your time this morning. We'll be following your case. Thank you.
Thank you.
A full classroom of downtown Toronto students will be stepping into the next school year in style thanks to their teacher who bought each kid a brand new pair of sneakers. And we welcome the coolest teacher in the six, Stephanie, aka Teach in the Six. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. Look, kicks are king in kid culture. Let's just say pop culture in general, for that matter. What's the backstory here, Stephanie? And are you a bona fide sneakerhead?
I am. So I was inspired as a kid by the movie Like Mike, and I wanted to share that film with my students this year. And if you don't know it, it's a little boy who's in an orphanage, and he gets a pair of shoes that supposedly were worn by Michael Jordan. And he puts on the shoes, and he thinks that the shoes are what make him. But in reality, it's him and his own creativity and his own go-getter mentality that is what actually pushes him and to reach his goals and in his future and stuff like that.
Such a great message.
I wanted to instill that in my students this year.
Now, the online reaction has been explosive. It's just gone viral. Over 1 million views, over 150,000 likes. Are you surprised?
I was so surprised. I didn't expect that at all. And it's been out for a little while, and just this past week or so, it picked up. So I was totally taken off guard.
What kind of feedback have you been getting from kids and parents, and how is it helping to sort of bridge the gap between the classroom and their living rooms?
Yeah, no, overwhelmingly positive. So the families were very supportive. I created this page to showcase to the parents what was going on within the classroom, because especially during these past few years, COVID restricted access into the building. So getting to see what your child's doing was not there was not it was not visible if the teacher didn't make it or communicate it with the parents. So allowing them to see this and see their kids firsthand experiencing different activities or their artwork or presentation skills, it was very key for me in their overall learning.
Now, kids will fight for sneakers, and they're hard currency in these new generations. How did you curate and then customize each pair for each kid? It looks like they're kind of making their own.
Oh, yeah. So we did a bunch of art activities. I love incorporating art into just even language or math and stuff like that. So I reached out to a local sneaker company, one of the only ones in Toronto that actually can bring in their supplies and coordinate and work one-on-one with the kids to a larger capacity. So they came in, they provided all the resources, and we spent the whole day customizing each individual's
cool.
pair of sneakers. Yeah.
Stephanie, was there a mentor or a moment in your childhood that made a difference?
Yes, growing up, I had a teacher that really stuck with me when I was in grade 8, and it really impacted me to move forward and to just look at the positive always. So she really did, yeah.
Look, I know you must be stoked to have full in-person learning again, approaching after these stressful couple of years of remote and hybrid learning. But I want to know, are you worried at all? You're now going to be expected for the next, classes that come into your homeroom to, pony up an iPhone or an Xbox? I don't know.
Yes, but it is a challenge. Every year is different circumstance, different set of kids. And this was a one-time thing that I worked really hard to give to my students. So it's maybe not a yearly thing, but we'll see how it goes.
Stephanie L., a.k.a. Teach in the Six. You got my vote. You're a shoo-in for Teacher of the Year. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Have a great day and good luck in next year's classroom. All right, over to the kids now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The Taste of India returns to Nathan Phillips Square this weekend. It's the 5th edition, Sunday and Monday, after a 2-year pandemic pause. This is a mouth-watering menu. This is some body rock and Bhangra beats. And here to set the table and the tabla is festival founder Vadresh Shah. Vadresh, thank you for being here. It's much appreciated, and we're happy that you're joining us here and you're back, right? You must be just itching to get out there and meet and greet the people again.
Absolutely. It's been a while. It feels like we're scratching from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long gap of 2 years, but we're excited, and it's jam-packed. It's more excitement this year because there's hundreds of vendors.
Yeah.
It's just grown. People were just waiting, and this is going to be one of the biggest Taste of India ever.
Can't wait. Now, the reality is, most people in Toronto that live here, they've probably sampled some Indian food, basic things, curries, maybe some tandoori, some naan. But you have, as you said, over 100 different authentic dishes presented on the square. So what are your chef's picks today? Tell me what we see. We'll go down the line and where these come from.
Sure. So this is a kathi roll. One is a wedge cottage cheese kathi roll, wrapped in a roti, and then that's cottage cheese, and then one is a chicken. This is the Indian way of burger.
This is awesome. I love this. Tell me about this.
This is a samosa slider.
Awesome.
Coming from one of our vendors called Chaska. They do the fusion street food.
It's amazing.
And this has been, this is rotis.
I'm going to tilt this up so the camera can see it.
So it's basically a Rumali roti made by Nirvana, one of our vendors. And it's tricolor because they tried to put it with orange, but beetroot made it a little bit red.
It's fine, healthy.
White. So it's a tricolor representing the Indian flag.
The flag of India.
Yes.
Beautiful. And you eat with your eyes first, right? So it's always good to have something that looks appetizing, and it's going to taste even better. All right. What's next here?
So that's the harabarak kebab, made with spinach, carrot, very healthy dish. You cut it, dip it in the chutneys, which is tamarind and mint chutney, and you're going to love it.
Okay, and finally, what do we have down here?
Those are the cottage cheese made in tandoor, barbecued with marinated sauce. One is red, which is a little bit spicier. The second one is cream, and the third one is made with spinach. This is again made by Nirvana, and this has been prepared fresh for you, George.
Beautiful. Now, so you're offering, obviously, meat dishes, but also vegetarian and vegan. I'm guessing you run the whole gamut, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What about sweets? Like, I have a sweet tooth, Vadresh. More than anything, I love sweets. And Indian sweets, many people don't really know that there's such a wide range. Yep. Are we going to have sweets on the square too?
Yes. So we're gonna have about 40 different sweet dishes and over 600 different dishes. All the restaurants and the participants are cooking 2 of their signature dishes.
Oh, okay.
And 2 something new which they want to bring on their menu. So this is a platform where they're going to try with thousands of people and see what that is coming on to the board.
There's nothing like festival season in Toronto, right? Because we are the most multicultural city on the planet, and people get to take a little deeper dive into their appetite is whet with the beautiful food. Then that is the introduction to the culture, right?
Yes.
And everything else on the square, including shopping and performances. What else is happening?
So on the stage, we'll have about 450 artists.
Wow.
65 troops performing back to back.
Wow.
Dance, music, bands. There are going to be flash mobs, which is a surprise, but it's going to come anytime. People won't know. And then there's jewelry, handicraft. So we're trying to bring art, culture, heritage, and culinary of India. As we call in India, Vasudeva Kutumb, that means world is one family. With open arms,
Beautiful.
everyone is welcome.
You even have DJs too, activities for kids. Kids are welcome,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Bring the whole family.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So admission is free, but you'll be spending some money once you get there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So now, they say that a man is measured by his appetites. I have never in my life been full of Indian food. It's my favorite. I will say that here. I think once you try good Indian food, if you're saying it's not your favorite, you're probably fibbing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So let me try one dish. What's the one you'd pick for me? Now this is it the cheese?
Yes.
Okay, and it's called again?
Kathi roll.
Kathi roll, okay. No dip, just eat.
You can dip it if you want to. Yeah.
Oh man.
Be honest.
Boy, come on.
All right, send it back here too, George.
Oh my God.
George, look at us. We're waiting. We're hungry.
I'm behind the
licking
camera.
every single piece of food here.
My mouth is watering.
Oh, it looks so
Thank
good.
you so much.
Thank you,
Taste
George.
of India this weekend, Nathan Phillips Square. Do not miss it. Delicious. Bhangra Beats and good eats.